It was just another morning on Main Street, the kind of day when the sun hit the glass buildings just right, casting golden shadows over the sidewalks. People were on their way to work, sipping overpriced coffee and typing furiously on their phones. Nobody noticed a man sitting quietly on the bench until a police cruiser pulled up with unnecessary authority. The man looked like he had been living on the streets. His coat was worn, his beard full, and his jeans looked like they'd been through storms. But his eyes, they held something ancient, steady, and strangely proud. Officer Brent Cartwright, a man known for his zero-tolerance approach to loiterers and what he called vagrants, pulled up and climbed out of his squad car with his usual puffed-up bravado. "Hey, you can't be sitting there all day. You got somewhere to be, or are you just waiting for the sun to set on someone else's dime?" he barked. The black man raised his eyes, calm but firm. "Just enjoying the morning. Is that illegal now?" That response didn't sit well with Brent. "Oh, you're one of those smart-mouthed types, huh?" he scoffed. "Let me guess, you got no job, no ID, no purpose. Just another leech on the system." People passing by began to slow down. A few stopped. Phones were out. But Officer Cartwright didn't care. He never did. He was used to getting his way, especially with people society didn't rush to defend. But this time he messed with the wrong man. "Sir," the man began calmly, "I suggest you check your tone. You don't know who I am." That just made the officer laugh harder. "Oh, I know exactly who you are. A nobody. Trying to sound important, so I won't arrest you for loitering. Do you even have ID?" The man slowly reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out a thick leather wallet, and handed over a business card. Brent rolled his eyes but glanced at the card. He squinted, then blinked, then his jaw stiffened. On the card, embossed in gold foil, were the words, "Marcus J. Winters Real Estate Investment Executive Chairman, Winters Development Group Owner, Midtown Towers, Bayview Commons, and 14 other city properties." Wait a second," Brent stammered, eyes darting from the card to the man's face. This can't be real." Marcus smiled. "Why don't you look up the name? Google is free." By now, a crowd had gathered. One woman held up her phone and read aloud, "It says here he owns like half of downtown?" Someone else muttered, "That's Marcus Winters. I've seen his face on those donation plaques in City Hall." Brent's face went pale to... Marcus stood, taller than the officer, steady, not angry, just dignified. "You judged me because of how I looked," he said, his voice low and commanding. "You thought poor meant worthless. You thought black meant criminal. You saw my coat and didn't see the boardrooms I sit in or the hundreds of families whose homes I've renovated and funded. You thought I was beneath you because I chose to dress down for one morning of peace." Brent tried to recover. "Well, you were still loitering." "On my property," Marcus replied. "That bench, it's part of Midtown Plaza. Check the deed. I own this building, the shops behind it, and the sidewalk you're standing on. So, technically, you're the one trespassing." The crowd gasped. Officer Brent Cartwright stood frozen, caught between the laughter of the growing crowd and the weight of the golden foil business card in his hand. His brain scrambled for a response, a justification, anything to make this humiliation stop. But Marcus Winters wasn't done. "See that deli over there?" Marcus said, gesturing toward a corner shop across the street. "When old Mr. Callahan was getting pushed out by corporate chains, I bought the property and lowered his rent. And the library down the road, that stayed open last year because I paid off its back taxes. You think I'm just a man on a bench, but I built benches for the city." Before Brent could reply, a black SUV rolled to a halt behind the police cruiser. Out stepped Police Chief Regina Doyle, her expression unreadable, lips pursed, eyes sharp. "Cartwright," she called out, "I got a call from Councilwoman Harris. Something about you trying to arrest the largest donor to the downtown revitalization project." Brent looked like he wanted to sink into the pavement. The chief turned to Marcus with a graceful nod. "Mr. Winters, I am so sorry. We had no idea it was you." "You don't have to apologize for not recognizing me," Marcus said, "but maybe for the culture you allow to flourish in your department." The chief winced. He continued, "This officer harassed me based solely on how I looked. Had I not handed him a business card, I wonder what this would have become. A news headline? A body cam scandal? A lawsuit? He paused, then turned to crowd. How many others has he humiliated who didn't have a name that carried weight? People nodded in agreement. A few clapped quietly. A teenager filming whispered, "This is going viral tonight." The body cam that backfired ironically, Officer Brent's own body cam had captured everything, from his smug insults to Marcus calmly stating he owned the property. Within hours, the footage leaked. It hit local news before dinner. The headline, "Cop harasses city's biggest landowner, mistakes him for a vagrant." News anchors had a field day. Editorials were scathing. Civil rights lawyers called for audits into Brent's past arrests. Chief Doyle didn't wait long. By the next morning, Brent Cartwright was suspended without pay pending investigation. 3 days later, Mayor Jennifer Clark held a press conference with Marcus standing at her side. She said, "We failed, Mr. Winters. But more importantly, we've failed thousands who suffered similar prejudice without the power to push back. We are launching a citywide review of police profiling beginning today." Marcus spoke too, calm, humble, but direct. "I dressed like this to reconnect with the streets I once slept on. Yes, I was homeless years ago, but I rose. And I've never forgotten the feeling of being ignored, dehumanized, dismissed. That's why I fund housing programs. That's why I help rebuild communities. But one man with a badge tried to reduce me to nothing. Imagine what happens to those without a voice." He paused, letting the silence settle. The badge isn't the problem. The mindset is. Months passed. Marcus Winters didn't sue. Instead, he launched a nonprofit, Bench to Boardroom, providing career training and housing to homeless citizens, especially those targeted by systemic bias. His first partner? The city. His second? The new police chief, because Chief Doyle retired and Marcus sat on the board that helped hire her replacement. As for Brent Cartwright, he was fired. No pension. And when he applied for private security work, the viral video always showed up in the background checks. And the bench? A golden plaque was installed at its base. To those judged by what they wear, stand tall. The world sees more than a coat. Marcus J. Winters. Don't mistake humility for weakness. Don't judge a person by their clothes, skin color, or silence. The world will always have those who rise above appearances. And when they do, truth becomes the loudest voice in the room.